Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me for this half price books haul. My name is Christina from the Tiny Bookcase. Recently, I took a trip to the half price bookstore to source books for upcoming bookish themes, and I thought I'd share with you what I found. So, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Little House on the Prairie book series. Uh, I'm not, I've never really read the books myself, but I do remember the TV show back in the 70s when I was a kid. Uh, and I wasn't an avid watcher back then. I do remember some of the episodes, but recently my husband suggested we watch the series on Netflix. So if you're not aware, Netflix has rebooted the TV show. And I was a bit surprised my husband suggested we watch this. We do have different interests and we don't watch too many shows together. But I thought I'd give it a shot, and I was quite surprised. We both really liked it. I think the way Netflix filmed this reboot, they are trying to get garner a wide variety of audience members. I think they are trying to appeal to a male audience as well. If you've seen it in Netflix, the thumbnail, at least the one that I saw when we were watching it, kind of focuses on the male characters. So they had um, the actor who played Charles Ingalls and some other male characters. And I just think that they were trying to create a broader audience for this TV show. Like I said, we really enjoyed it, and I do believe there is a second season coming, which I'm looking forward to. But I won't say any more about the series. I don't want to really spoil it for anyone who'd like to check it out. So let's get into this book haul. I was happy to find this book, this Little House on the Prairie's chapter book, School Days. I think it's number 6 in the series, and I did find this for $2.49. So I had planned to pick up a couple of these Little House on the Prairie books. I was looking into finding some, and I was lucky to um, there was quite a variety of books. Uh, I like this one in particular. I was really drawn to the cover. I love this colorful depiction on the flowers in the meadow. I think this little girl might be Laura Ingalls, although I'm not sure if this is her sister Mary, just by the age of the little girl, because I think Mary's a bit older than Laura. But who knows? I haven't read the book. I picked this one up as a companion for an upcoming theme we will be doing in October, which is Holly Hobbie. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Holly Hobbie. She was she was artist, and in the 70s, her artwork was featured in some books. I was lucky to receive some books of hers and a subscription that my mother signed me up for, and I really treasured those books, although over the years I have no idea what happened to them. I have been able to purchase some replacements, so I do have some books that I used to own, that I was able to find on the internet, and recently I decided I would part with one of them to use for Happy Meal in October. But I did want to pick up a companion book to kind of um, build up the Happy Meal ephemera. And after watching the series again, I thought that Little House on the Prairie book would be perfect. And I did like this one. Like I said, the cover just drew me to it. Also, the price, $2.49, is a good price for me. When I go to half price bookstore, I do like to set a cap of $3. I tend to not like to go over that, although I will make exceptions depending on the book and my need for it or want for it. But this one was $2.49, so well under my cap. I think this is a revised edition. I thought I read that somewhere when I was looking through this earlier. Yes, a revised edition from 2017. But I was happy to see that this book had several illustrations, and I thought they would work perfectly for our theme for October. We do starting in September, we will be um our Happy Meal will be like a month in advance. So though this is going to be sent out at the end of October, the Happy Meal will be for November, which I feel like Holly Hoppy is perfect theme for November, just because she had the cozy house vibes. A lot of her books were about the home and occasions and seasons, and I really loved those books when I was a kid. And I'm sure, uh, I'm hoping at least that our Patreon members will agree as well. So I just thought this was a perfect book to complement that, because the theme is pretty much the same. I think her artwork did depict this time frame, because her depictions or art depictions would feature the young girls in this type of dress, with the bonnets. So I thought this was perfect. So I was happy to pick this one up. The next book I found, I was also looking for Roald Dahl books, because in August we will be doing Roald Dahl on our Patreon. And I found this one, The Giraffe and Pelly and Me, 249 as well. And I was happy to pick this one up. I kind of um, was swayed to pick this one up just because of all the illustrations in this book. I was pleased to see how many illustrations are in this one, and I have not really seen this book before. I don't remember hearing about this book. And there's some information about the author Roald Dahl on the back cover. I did want to provide some books that aren't as familiar with the broader public. I thought this was perfect for that, and I don't think I'll have any problems sourcing this one. There is a bit of damage, so I think that this was a perfect choice for our Happy Mail for um, August. And I think this one sold for $5.99, so we got it for $2.49, which is a good deal. We also, speaking of deals, I also found this one, Merry Christmas Mouse, by Laura Numeroff and Felicia Bond. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the series, several books about animals and what happens if they're provided. In this case, I think there was, if you give a mouse a cookie, that was like one of my son's favorite books when he was younger. And my daughter really liked If You Give a Pig a Party. I actually got that one for her birthday one year. Uh, so I was happy to find Merry Christmas Mouse. I always like to pick up some Christmas books if I can find them, and this was a great one for the $1.99 price range. Uh, I will say I was a little disappointed. I don't feel like it was overly Christmassy. I mean, it is a countdown book, a countdown to Christmas, I believe, but I feel like uh, the I don't know, the way it was, the art in this book, it kind of just like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I feel like it's not in the style that I would have hoped. Um, I feel like we're just getting some images on a green leafy background. And um, if I had thought more about it at the time, I might have put this one back. I mean, $1.99 is a good deal for a Christmas book. I'm not sure if this book was right for what I want it for, but now I have it, so I'll have to make the most of it. I do love the little mouse. I think that I saw this particular page when I opened the book, and I kind of thought that we're gonna get more um, colorful, something like this, but you just get those specific, trying to think, zoomed in images, and I kind of would like a more of a like this kind of image. So, Merry Christmas, Mouse. So I was a bit disappointed, I will say, after seeing the rest of the book, but I only paid $2 for it, a little a penny under $2. I will figure out how I will use it in the future for other projects. And moving on, I did find this little golden book, Let's Fly a Kite, Charlie Brown, a book about the seasons. I'm always happy to find little golden books out in the wild, and I am always happy to find a Peanuts book because we love Peanuts here in my home. Uh, and this one I think is an older one. This one's from 1987, so it is vintage and in really good condition. Although I would say that some of the seasons, well, it is focusing on seasons, not so much holidays. And I think I was thinking holidays. So I'm a little disappointed that there wasn't more with the fall seasons. It seems very heavy on the summer seasons. We do get a little bit of fall, as you can see. And we're going right into Halloween, which is, I think this is the only image for that. And then we have some winter scenes. Not really too much. And there we see Snoopy on his little doghouse with the little Christmas lights decorating for holidays. And then back to spring, as I see. So I like the book. I like that it's a Peanuts book and we get the characters. I kind of wish that we had more of the fall and the winter seasons, especially because we have those really um, memorable specials that they would have around the fall season with it's the great Chuck, it's the great big pumpkin Charlie Brown. I think that was what it was called for Halloween, and then a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas episode. I remember those when I was a kid, but uh, I guess because it is about seasons, they didn't really want to focus on the holidays. Uh, Although I feel like they were pretty hefty on the summer seasons. Anyway, a way I could tell that this one was an older book is just the back of the cover. You get this parade of characters encircling the back. Uh, and you don't get that anymore in the newer Little Golden books. Just to let you know, if you were wondering when you see a book before you even open it, if you see a cover like this with a colorful background, I've seen them in pink as well. You more or less know that this is an older book. Also, the price will tell. Usually, there's a price around here, but this is being covered up by the half price book price, which was $2.99. Usually the half price books are half price original retail price. Although this one I'm not sure what it was because I think it's covered up by here by this sticker. So hopefully this is a good price. It is vintage, so I was happy to pick this one up, like I said. The next book I got was a big collection of Little Golden books. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Little Golden Books series. Um, and this was a collection of them. I did go over my cap of $3 that I like to set for myself. It was $7.99, but I convinced myself that we have a whole collection of Little Golden Book stories in this book. And though it is a more recent book collection, the artwork in here is a reproduction of the original artwork from the past. So you're still getting that vintage artwork, even though it is a newer book. So it's in good condition. I really love the end pages. When you open this book up, uh, you see this colorful end pages. You do have the end pages in the little Glen books, but as you can tell, it's not colorful. And they did have some in older editions. They did have some colored uh, end pages, but those were rare books and older books, quite older books. I think I do have a couple of those little golden books in my collection. I'll have to go through and see. Um, but it was fond of this end page. I liked it a lot. One of the reasons what convinced me to get this book, as you can see, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little golden book stories um, in this collection, and we also have some biographies and a brief history of the little golden books. But I was happy to get this book. The Pokey Little Puppy is in this one. I think I have one of the little Pokey Little Puppy books. I think it's a holiday one, actually, a Christmas one. So I really like the artwork in these books. Like I said, this is original reproduction artwork. So these are the original images just reproduced for this collection, and they are a bit more enlarged. So I feel like for the purposes I had planned to use this book for, will work very well. And like I said, there's a wide variety of pages in here because we have several stories. The next book, let's see, here we go, is the Scruffy Tugboat. I do not own this book. I've never really seen it out there in the wild. I have seen it on ads on Etsy, some booksellers. I've seen this logo in the book. Most of the time it's been sold out when I've looked it up. I think I've seen some creators sharing little golden books. I think I've seen this book before, but I have never seen it like in person. So it was nice to have this one in my collection. I love books of like this that have these vintage images, and I love boats and trains. I don't know, something about them. I really do like those illustrations. So this is a really darling one, and I love this one with the clothesline and their clothes out to dry. Uh, so this one was a really good story to have in this collection. I don't know how they decided to choose the stories for this collection, but I am happy they chose this one. Then we have the Saggy Baggy Elephant by Catherine and Byron Jackson, illustrated by Gustav Tengren. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This one I'm not familiar with. I have seen the cover before. Like I said, I think I've seen it in Etsy stores. Those sellers who sell little golden books. But I like the variety of animal that are depicted in this story. Jungle animals. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this story. I love that lion. But there is a wide range of animal depiction in this story. So I'm really happy this was included. The Fuzzy Little Duckling by Jane Warner Watson, illustrated by Alice and Martin Provenson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have been on the lookout for this particular story. I have never found the fuzzy duckling out there. I think I've seen some listings on Etsy, but like I said, a lot of times they've been sold out by the time I've seen them. So I am happy that this one was included in this collection. I do want to find this one because I wanted to use it as a spring Easter junk journal. Like I said, I have not found it, so I'm happy that this was included as well. And I love the farm depiction, the farm animals in the story. Uh, this collection, I feel like, is very heavy on the animal depiction, animal stories. Um, so I don't know if that's a theme. That we have these turkeys. I thought that's really cute. And some lambs and the puppies. Oh, I love this page. I love these little pigs. Like I said, it's really a cute story, and like I said, I wanted to find this individual golden book, but at least I have this in the collection. The next book is I Can Fly by Ruth Cross, illustrated by Mary Blair. I have not heard of this one. I have not seen this one before, um, but I love the illustrations in this story. I love the color scheme in this one. I am quite drawn at the moment to this type of color scheme, and I just love the fancifulness of this story. Uh, and we do have a little bit of farm depiction here. The little girl is so sweet. I just love this imaginative um, story, the artwork in this one. And it was nice to see a new little golden book I've never seen before. If you've seen it, please let me know. I've never seen this one before. I didn't know about this one, but I am happy to have it in this collection. I just love the images that they used in these illustrations. So, oh, this one's pretty. This one's I think this is one of my favorite pages actually. I love how the little girl is dressed like the the bunny rabbit. So it seems to me like that she is trying to depict the animals. I didn't get that in the previous pages, but now I'm starting to think that's the case just because of this picture and how she's mimicking the camel here. So I guess if I read it, I might have caught it. But like I said, I do love the pictures in this book, and I'm happy it's part of this collection. Oh, we even have a little music page on this one, so that's neat. Um, the next story is The Seven Little Postmen by Margaret Weiss Brown and Edith Thatch Hurd, illustrated by Tyborn Gurgley. Georgely, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I don't mean to destroy someone's name. But this book I actually do own in my own collection, my own little golden book collection. Um, so it was nice to see this one included. I don't know what the how they decided which stories to include, but this one I really do love. I purchased this a few years ago. I think it was at Walmart. I saw it in the book section, and I've always loved little golden books. My mom used to purchase those little golden books for me when I was a kid, and I like the vintage style of this book, but I also like the theme of it. When I was young, I used to love to see our postman delivering mail. Back then, I lived in Chicago. That's where I'm originally from. And he used to go with his cart full of mail and walk uh, the neighborhood to delivering our mail. And I just thought that was so cool. Here, where I reside now in South Texas, I don't see mail people, mail persons, I don't see them delivering mail that way. I think they use a truck and they drive and they deliver their mail in a mail truck. So it was a little different than when I was a kid. Um, but I don't know if they ever did that here. Like I said, I moved here when I was a teenager, so I'm not sure. But when I was a kid, um, I just loved that idea of delivering mail. I just thought that would be such a cool job to have, and I did ponder the idea of it becoming a male person when I was younger. Um, as I got older, I didn't think about it so much, but I still love the idea of the mail. And this one, in this story, it shows you how your mail is delivered. It shows you the different um, ways how the process is, the mail, how the mail is delivered and gets to you. So I really enjoy that. And here we have a really cool image of this train. We have some airplanes. I don't know, I really do love trains and old illustrations of boats, vintage ones. But like I said, this is a favorite story of mine, and I do have this one in my collection. And I'm happy to have it in this book because I have bigger images here too. So I really like that. Haven't read this one in a while, so I've forgotten all these images. I remember some of them, but not all of them. Um, the next one is A Home for a Bunny. I think I do have this one also in my collection by Margaret Wise Brown, illustrated by Garth Williams. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I at first thought it was just a purple background, but we actually do have the little images from the, I think it's like the end pages, these little images here. I just noticed it when I was turning the page, and I didn't realize that at first, but they do have the little illustrations um, in this background, and I hadn't caught that until recently, until right now. Home for a Bunny. I do have this one in my collection. I picked it up recently at another trip to Half Price Bookstore, and my intention was to source it for Happy Mail, possibly in the future, or a junk journal for myself or someone. So I was happy to find this one. I think the one I picked up was actually a more earlier copy, so it's a little vintage. But happy to see it here in this collection. So I have another resource if I am pulling for Happy Meal in the future. And like I said, this one is filled with a bunch of animals. I think these are more like forest ones, and with the heavy concentration on the bunny rabbit. And this one is a real sweet one. I love the two different types of bunnies. I think when I was younger, my brothers found a bunny rabbit hopping around in our backyard. I think it must have gotten away from someone, but no one ever came to claim it. And so they had a new pet. And it looked just like this bunny rabbit, actually. Although in person, I thought the bunny rabbit's eyes were kind of creepy because of those red eyes. But I think they made these ones a little bit pinkish, so that's so creepy. But it was really cool to see a bunny in the wild, and then because, like I said, we lived in Chicago, we were in a more urban environment. We didn't really see too many animals like that just out there in our backyard or hopping down the street. One day, I did see a frog hopping down our street, and I thought that was so cool. But like I said, we were urban, and here in Texas, a little bit more animal what do you call them, experiences, I guess. And then this one is Animal Orchestra. So again, another animal tale. I don't want to destroy this name, so this is the book. I really love this one. I love the colorful the colors, and this one, it just pops. And I think this is just like it says, it's a book about an animal orchestra and them getting ready to have this show. And it's really cool. I have not seen this book, I am not familiar with. So, like I said, a lot of animal depictions playing the instruments. I will say a lot of my Little Golden books that I own in my collection are not very heavy on animals. I do have some, but not as many. So it's nice that this one has a bunch of animal depiction Little Golden books because I don't have that many in my collection. And I really love these pictures and the wide variety of animals we have. I think this is even anteater, I believe. And there we have a crocodile or an alligator. And I'm not sure what kind of animal this is. I would say I was thinking zebra, but there's not really purple zebra. And then nose, I'm not sure, but I love the variety we have here in this picture. So there they are taking their bow. The next book in this collection is The Lion's Paw by Jane Warner Watson and illustrated by Gustav Chingren. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I've messed up that name as well. I hope I didn't. So more animal depiction. The Lion's Paw, a really cool picture of the lion and the little mouse. I'm thinking that this is a play on that story, that tale about the lion having a thorn in his paw and possibly needing help, I think. But again, here we are with all these pretty images of these, again, jungle animals, I believe. So, really pretty images here. I feel that $7.99 was a pretty good deal for this book because, like I said, you have all these really pretty images and these stories. 10 little golden book stories in a collection. I think that's pretty good for $7.99. The last book in this collection is The Good Humor Man by Kathleen N. Daly and illustrated by Tibor Gergely. I hope I'm saying that right. This story actually also sold me on this book. I have some bittersweet feelings about this one. I love the artwork for one, but like I said, I was a child in Chicago, and back when I was a kid, we had the Tasty Freeze truck, and the Tasty Freeze truck had softy cones. They had the machine to make the softy cones on their truck, and some of those trucks would sometimes have strawberry ice cream. Most of the time they had vanilla and chocolate, but a couple of them had strawberry. And so I love when I hear the ice cream truck come because my grandma would take out a little change purse and she would buy me and my brother some ice cream cones, and sometimes I'd get strawberry. Most of the times I was hoping they'd have strawberry, but not every truck did. But I still loved getting my vanilla cone or chocolate cone, whatever it was at the time. But after a while, we started seeing the Good Humor truck come around, and as it came around, little by little, we saw less and less of the Tasty Freeze truck, and until it didn't come out, it didn't come out anymore. We never saw it anymore. So I feel like the Good Humor truck kind of pushed out the Tasty Freeze truck, which is a bit sad because I did love getting those little softy cones from the ice cream truck. I do say that the Good Humor truck was a novelty at the time. It was because they had these popsicles, and you could get not just ice cream, but you could get sherbet, or they'd have those frozen snow cones, or we say raspas. But pretty much I would get tempted by those. I don't know why, because you open up the wrapper and take a bite, it was frozen ice and it was very flavorful. So I wished I had sticking to the popsicles, or my favorite was a push-up, and the strawberry shortcake from the Good Humor truck. I did love that one as well. I really just love these images. They're just like full of nostalgia, and it reminds me when I was a kid and my grandma took out our change purse and bought us ice cream cones. Even though the ice cream, the Good Humor truck kind of pushed out our little Tasty Freeze trucks. I am happy to have this story in this collection. So, so that's the last story in this collection. Like I said, they have some biographies of the authors. I'm not sure if they have They do have the illustrators as well. Um, but they also have a little history of little golden books. So they tell you how much the average cost for the little golden book was. Like in 1940s, it was 25 cents. And then these were the titles that they had during that time: the Pokey Little Puppy, the Three Little Kittens, bedtime stories, the alphabet A through Z, Mother Goose, Prayers for Children, The Little Red Hen, nursery songs, the Golden Book of Fairy Tales, Baby's Book, The Animals of Farmer Jones, and the Little Pig, and the Little Piggy. This Little Piggy, I'm sorry. Um, and then we have in the 1950s and 1970s, the average cost was 25 cents in 1952 and 29 in 1962, and then 39 in 1968, 59 in 1970. So this would be the price range the books were when I was a kid. When my mom would have purchased me little golden books, they would have been from 39 to 59 cents because I was born in 1972. Uh, so they have some books here. The Night Before Christmas. I think they did. I think they did a 10th anniversary of The Night Before Christmas. I was gonna say because I'm pretty sure that was an older book. Um, and then some other ones. Dr. Dan. I guess these are reprinted. Uh, so they say in 1953, in just over 10 years, almost 3 million little golden books had been sold. And I will say they were very popular. I mean, I was so fond of these books, and I feel like it's because they were a cheaper way to purchase books because books can be quite pricey, and the little golden books let you have a quality book with very beautiful illustrations for a very inexpensive cost. I mean, even back in 39 cents and 59 cents was pretty good back in the day. And even now, they're not that expensive, but um, they still are quite pricey since the price has gone up. As you see, in the 1980s, they went up to 89 cents in 1982 and 99 cents in 1986. And this would have been around the time where my younger brothers, my mom would have purchased books for them. So this was a big jump from the 59 cents of when I was a kid. And according to this, the 1 billionth little golden book, The Pokey Little Puppy, was printed in November 20th, 1986. So here we see that the average cost is $2.99 today. I believe this is a little bit earlier edition, so because they are not $2.99 at the moment. I think they're about $4.99. $4.99, I believe, is the current price for little golden books. So I do believe that this must be a little bit earlier than now. I didn't look at, yes, this is from 2003. So it is already 20 years old. So a little over 20 years old. So it is, in a way, it's a bit, I guess it's a vintage book because we are in 2026 and I think vintage is 20 years and older. So I guess this is a vintage book, even though it is quite recent. I didn't look to see what the price was for this book. I don't know if it says somewhere. I think it does say here somewhere. Yes, 14.95. I think that says for sure 14, and it was 7.99. So yes, half price. Uh, and our last book that I'm sharing with you today is Roald Dahl, Beastly's Brutes and Heroic Human Beings. So this is, I think, a collection of some of the stories of Roald Dahl. I will say I was very happy to see the end pages. They're really full page with the candies and the purple background. It really pops. Um, the book itself, the pages are quite thick, and I was, like I said, looking for Roald Dahl books. This one specifically has a lot of different book characters in just this one book. Um, and I did go over my price of $3 I usually set. Um, but $6.99 I thought was worth it for this collection, especially since I'm sourcing for Roald Dahl now, since we're doing the Roald Dahl theme in August for our Patreon. And I really did like the variety of characters that they had in this book. And they had several pages for each book that they did feature in this uh, collection. So we have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and like I said, you see a lot of pages for that story, Willy Wonka. And like I told you, these pages are quite thick, and I don't know if you can pick this, if it picks it up on the video, but there is perforate edges on this book. So these, I believe, can be popped out. So you would get this little image and the script on the back. These called Fast Facts. Violet Beauregarde and Fast Facts, Hobby Champion Gum Chewer. Appearance, powerful jaws, most likely to say just so long as it's gum. So, oops, is that the image? Okay, so that's the image on the other side. So that's pretty neat. I feel like I will be able to get a lot of use of this one for my Happy Mail for our Patreon. And it's giving me some ideas of ideas for Patreon Happy Mail for August. And we have the Twits, Mr. Twit, I'm Horrid and Hateful. I haven't read this book. I think my husband and I kind of watched a little bit of the TV cartoon on Netflix, I think it was. And like I said, there's a lot of pages for the one story. So we have that, and then this might be another story. The Roly Poly Bird, I think, maybe this isn't it. Yeah, and then we have the BFG. Again, I've not read this one, but I did see the movie. I think the books I've read from Roald Dahl have been Matilda, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Charlie and Chocolate Factory. But I am familiar with a couple of other ones. Like I said, I saw the BFG movie, and I saw a little bit of the Twits on TV. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, and the last story I believe is Matilda that's featured here. So I think it is. Yes, I think this is the last one. Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe this one is. I'm not sure here. But this definitely is still from Matilda. So this might be from Matilda as well, I think. I'm not sure though. I don't remember this character, but I did read it a while back. And then we have this little envelope here. I don't know what it's for. It's really neat. Let's see what it says. We've got the better of the Trunchbull in the end, not to mention my pesky parents. Wherever they are now, I now live with Miss Honey in her own version of Happily Ever After. So these are just little blurbs from the characters that were featured in this book. And it says store your pressed out pieces here. Okay, so like I said, you can press out those pieces that were preferred in the story, and you can store them in here. That's what I thought it was going to be for, but I wasn't sure. So I was happy to pick this one up. Like I said, I think, yeah, this one says it was $16.99 originally, and we got it for $6.99. So that was a good deal. It's a little bit under. It's a little bit under half price, I think. Yeah, or is it over? Either way, it was a good deal. I'm, as you can tell, I'm not very good math in my head really quick. So, but like I said, I'm very happy with all the books. Somewhat. This one, I'm not sure about, but it wasn't so much. So, um, but like I said, I was this one I was happy to get because, like I said, I've not heard of this one, and I like to have something that is not as well known in the collection. But those are all the books. Well, most of all the books that I got. I did get a I got a repurchase. Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I purchased this in my last um, trip to the half price bookstore. But I found another copy of this one, and I wanted to pick it up because um, I like this book specifically because of the author. So on the illustrator, I'm sorry, the author is the same. So on this book, the illustrator is Quentin Blake. I think this is the current illustrator for Roald Dahl books. Um, but for this edition of the Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, it is another illustrator. I'm trying to see if I can find his name because I don't remember it. There it is, Joseph Schindelman. And the reason I like this illustrator is because of the illustrations. This book, um, well, the Charlie and Chocolate Factory, he also illustrated. And when I was younger, in third grade, our teacher read us the Charlie and Chocolate Factory book. Um, like in the afternoon before the bell rang, she would read excerpts from the book to us until we finished it. And I think it's just very nostalgic and reminds me of that time. And so that was my first what's the word, introduction to Roald Dahl. Later on, I did see the movie on HBO, I believe, and I was hooked. But like I said, the Charlie and Chocolate Factory book that was illustrated by Joseph Schindelman was my first introduction to Roald Dahl's world. And when I can find a book that's illustrated by him, I like to pick it up. And for $2.49, I thought that was a good deal. It does have some, I think it just got some damage somewhere I saw. Yeah, if you could see right here, there's some damage, but that was fine. Um, but I was just happy to find this one with Joseph Schindelman as illustrator. So um, that these are the books I picked up. I hope the video wasn't too long. I might have gone on with some of my stories. I hope I didn't bore anyone. Uh, I also did. Oops. I also did get this summer camp activity book from the clerk when I went to check out. Um, he asked me if I had any young children at home, which I do not, but I do have a little free library. So I told him I could tuck this into my little free library, and someone might happen upon it. Pretty much, it's just a little activity book, and you fill out. There's I think, a list. You do a little book report on a book, and take this back to the store, and you get a free book. So that I felt was a good deal, and hopefully, some young lucky person will find this and fill it out and get themselves a free book. I mean, they can get themselves a free book and from my little free library as well, but um, they can also get one from Half Price Bookstore if they were to fill this out. I'm not sure if you have a Half Price Bookstore in your area. I don't know if all the Half Price bookstores are doing this. I didn't do any research on it, but you might want to look it up because That is a pretty neat deal to do. I mean, it's fun enough to just to do it. And if your child's into reading, I think that they would love doing this and get themselves a free book. So you just do your book reports and then you turn this in and get your free book. Uh, so I think I'm gonna leave this here. I feel like I already this is quite a long video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. It will help out our tiny little channel ever so much. And if not, no worries. We appreciate your viewership and we hope that you do return for another video. But until next time, take care. God bless. See you soon. Bye.